Lingers. Today is 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, so that means it's time for a video. So let me go ahead and do a quick refresh over here, see if I'm doing anything or just talking to myself. I never like to talk to myself because, you know, there's that problematic problem about what if somebody answers. That is always the problem. Okay. So my card for today is a fun fold. Hi, Karen. And this is called, let me straighten this up. It's bugging me. Just a minute. It shouldn't bug me, but it was. Okay, so I have to fix it. All right, there we go. Hey, Rosie. So this is a fun fold. It's a double bottom gate. So it's a little narrower than you're used to, but the beauty of it is, even though it's kind of thick, it still fits in your A2 envelope. Hi, Faith. Hi, Marva. Appreciate you coming. And Angie. And it has 2 gates, hence the term double gatefold. And it has a little pull-out tag here that you can write on front and back. And so we're going to make this. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow. I did get this idea from Lisa Curcio. She did a little bit differently with her pocket, but we'll get to that. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Carol and Kathy and Jean and everybody. I appreciate you guys coming. Hi, Becky. Okay, let's put this aside. And we're going to need our paper trimmer today. Yes, we are. With the edge out. Now, I am using Celebratory Sips DSP and the Cheers and Sips bundle to go with. These are online exclusives. All right, I've got a bunch of stuff cut out here. Bunches of stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to find all the pieces and parts because I did such a great job organizing them. Can you tell? Okay, our card base is Daffodil Delight, and it is 5 inches. Let me double check that I'm telling you correct. 5 inches by 10.5. And the first thing I am going to do, you're going to do a score and a cut twice, okay? All kind of at the same time. I should get that gone. Let me get this done. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is at 3 1/2 inches, this is all on the long side in case you were wondering, at 3 1/2 inches, we're going to run the score line up. This is probably the hardest part of this whole thing, is being sure you're using the right blade at the right time. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so at 3 1/2 inches, we're going to score the whole piece, okay? Then lift your guard up and roll the cutting blade up so that you don't cut on your way. Now, on that exact same score line, I'm going to score down to 2 inches. And you can see 2 inches is right there. And so I'm just going to score until the little mark in the scoring blade hits the 2 inches. And then I'm going to stop. Just like that. Then I'm going to push this down to 7 inches. Get rid of that cutting blade for a second. Make that straight. And we're going to score again. Okay, so 7 inches like that. Then pick up the guard, push the cutting blade up, and stop it. This time, we're going to come down to the 3-inch mark. Okay, so first was 2 inches, now 3 inches. And you can see what that's going to do. Here was the 2-inch, here's the 3-inch. Okay? Okay, so we're just going to roll this down until the little mark on that cutting blade right there lines up with the 3-inch mark. You probably can't see that very good, but I can assure you it's there. Okay, then we're going to pick it up. Now, we're going to turn this, and this was at 3 inches, so what I want to do is I want to cut this part out. So I'm going to put this top edge at 3 inches, like so, and I'm going to come down to the 3 1/2 inch mark. And that's going to cut that corner out. Okay? Like that. And then I'm going to leave this like this because that's easier for moi. This is at 2 inches, so I'm going to put the top edge here at the 2-inch mark across the bottom. That's kind of the advantage of your paper trimmers. You've also got this mark at the bottom. So I'm going to come from the bottom up to where this 2-inch cut intersects the score line. Okay, which happens to be at right about the 7 1/4 line. Okay, there we go. And that cut that out just like that. And so now we have the basis of our card base. All right, so that's it. Okay, okay. From Hagerstown, Maryland. Hey, Jean. Okay, now you could do either one of these as your over-the-top one, but I'm going to... Ow, ow, I stuck my finger right in my tweezers, and it was sharp. It was as sharp, and I said, owie, wowie. Mostly because you guys were here. I might have used a different word if I was by myself. Okay, I like to kind of give a burnish on my cuts so that it's... so I can go either way. Because cuts have a, you know, they kind of have a way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down. And if it's a little bit too far, that's just a function of the score, okay? And that's just kind of how it happens. So go ahead and make it fit just like it's supposed to right there, and make it straight. Okay? And you can do that with your burnisher, aka your bone folder. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little more. Sometimes you get lucky and it's perfect, but that's a day you should go and buy a lottery ticket, okay? And then we'll just do the same on this side. And what you want to check is that this will all close up like so, and it will. Use your bone folder to rush out those creases, and then we're ready to decorate. That's it. That's all there is to that, okay? And we'll get into the envelope here in just one. Yeah, I'm trying not to bleed at all. That would be good. I'm a little surprised I'm not. I'm not going to kid you. Okay, let me gather up. Let me get rid of that cardstock. I do not need it. This is my pocket stuff. Okay, so here's the back. And I'm just going to, I'm not using any mats, okay? Because there's plenty of thickness here, and we just really don't need all that extra. Hey, Amy. Hi, Sue. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, so we're going to use liquid glue. Now, y'all, I know that some of you have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with liquid glue. I would urge you to give it a try, practice with it. You never know when your seal will run out and you'll need to use liquid glue. It also gives you plenty of time to play with stuff. The trick is to use the least amount you can, okay? It squishes, it spreads, and it holds like a dream, so you don't have to worry about it. If you just can't bring yourself to do it, when I use liquid glue, you could use Stampin' Seal, okay? I probably wouldn't use it for adhering things like little pieces, but again, you do you, because that's how this little game rolls. Okay, now this is going to go on our front. I'm just finding the pieces that I've already cut, and I'm just adhering them to the card base, trying to make it similar. Probably the hardest piece of this was deciding which papers to use, which designs and pieces from the bundle to use. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? You picking up what I'm putting down? And then this guy's going to go on the inside here. I love this paper. This pretty flowery paper is very nice. All right. And then we're going to get to decorating, because the fold itself is pretty straightforward and easy. So that means you can spend your brain bucket, especially because I'm going to give you all the cuts and stuff. You'll be able to I just got this mouth this morning. It's weird. I did not even think it was going to be a problem, but it was. Okay. All right. So then I'll put this on the front. Okay. This does have an up down, so try to be cognizant of where the up is and where the down is in relation to where you want them. Just saying. Okay. Now let's see. We have one other piece, uno más, that we'll put on here. And then we're going to make our little envelope. And this was where I kind of diverged from Lisa's a little bit. You can, if you want, you can go to her website and find her bottom double gate card, and you'll see how to make her pocket. And you can use that one if you prefer it. There we go. Everybody has a thing about liquid glue until they don't. Okay, now our pocket is, I wanted the pocket to be one layer deep, okay? So I did it sort of like a box. I have a piece of Timid Tiger here, and it is 3 3/4 wide by 4 3/8 deep, tall, long, whatever, however you want to look at it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do a 3/8 inch score on 3 out of the 4 sides. Okay, so we're going to go 3/8. Remember to use your score line, your score blade. 3/8. And one more 3/8. Hopefully I'm doing that correctly all the way around. It always amazes me when I can say to myself, okay, cut this one 3 3/8, and I cut it 3 3/8, and then I look at it, and what I cut was 3 1/8. I don't know. It's because I'm weird, I guess. I don't know. All right. So then I'm going to fold all of these in the same direction in and give them a good burnish. And what I'm making here is a little pocket flap spot for my adhesive to go, which in this case is going to be tear and tape. You could use liquid glue, but this is one of those places where I probably wouldn't, okay? Now, let's go ahead and adhere another piece of our DSP, and then I'm going to make a finger pull, okay? So, I am gonna have to go off screen once so that I can make our finger pull here. You could use a circle punch, or you can do like I am. I'm using a Stylish Shapes die. Okay, get that just lined up in the center there like that. And then I am going to use this. So not the smallest, not the next to smallest, but the second from the smallest, okay? And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it like right there, about halfway down, and I'm gonna cut it out. Okay, so wait be waiting one moment, please. One moment for Mary Dethridge to return. Please hold. Your call is very important to us. Could we interest you in some car warranty extension or student loan forgiveness while you are waiting? We don't have Muzak, so we have to offer you a deal. Okay, there we go. That was totally random, and I apologize for that. Okie doke. So now what we're going to do here, I'm going to go ahead. This is what's going to happen. We're going to fold these up like so. But when you do that, you're going to get a whole bunch of, like, you know, extra right there. We don't want extra. So what we want to do is, let me see, I'm going to cut just like that, and then cut on that score line, okay? And then we'll do the same over here, and like so. Okay, now when I fold it up, it's got way less stuff, but I do want to get rid of that little extra bit. Okay, got way less stuff to be thick and icky. All right, but it's still got a place to go ahead and adhere what we're adhering, our adherifying, okay? We want to do our adherifying. So first, take your tear and tape, and if you've never seen how to do this, the way to work tear and tape to make it work good is to stick your hand through the hoop like that. Well, you know, after you find the end, and then you can direct it with these two fingers, your thumb and your forefinger. Okay, so we're just going to put that right on the little flappy-doo, the flappadoola, okay, and pick it up. You can use your pick a tool, or you take a pick, or you can use your tweezers, and we're just going to give that a little fold over like that. What you're doing is you're just establishing your envelope. And now I'm going to just make sure that I still have the room I thought I had. I do. I really do. Give that another little burnish, and then put some more tear and tape on here. Okay. Like so. Like so. Now, you can use liquid glue here, but you do need to be careful, or you'll end up with liquid glue where your little tag insert's going to go, and that can be a sticky situation. You kind of see what I did there. Oh gosh, stop it, Mary. You're so funny. You've got them rolling in their seats. Okay, pick up our cover like so. And then we're just going to center this on here, kind of eyeball it. It's not an exact science, but if you can kind of center it, there you go. Now, when you close this, you'll be able to see all of your pretty DSPs, and you'll be so happy with your life. Okay, now to make our tag, I have a piece of basic white, and it is at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to use this little, the little straight line thing in the hole punch assortment. Now this little set is currently not available, but it is showing that it should be back this week. So I am holding out hope. I'm just going to put it down a little ways like that. Okay. And then because, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to cut off these little corners. Okay, and it's a little bit uneven. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and put a little sentimente. I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. This always causes me trepidation and heart palpitations because Blackberry Bliss and I, can you hear it laughing? It's like, pull out the Blackberry Bliss. I dare you, lady. I dare you. Okay, now where is my sentimente? I had them all. I had everything out. Let me see. I really did. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's celebrate. And we're going to very carefully, ever so carefully, stamp that right there. Hopefully straight. Yep. And then I'm going to stamp my little piece of rosemary, and I am doing it rosemary in Old Olive. In my brain, rosemary is Old Olive looking. I don't know. I could be wrong. And we're going to stamp him right there like that. Okay. Oh, you are welcome, Colleen. That is, I learned that years ago, and it made all the difference because I too had trouble with tear and tape. Okay, now for our little pulley doohickey, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of Timid Tiger. Okay, raise your hand if Timid Tiger is like your favorite 25-26 in color, because it is right up there as one of mine. And 25-20, I meant 25-27, of course. Don't listen to what the silly demonstrator says on the TV. 25 through 27, and you'll be able to get 25 through 27 in color products next week. The link will go live on the 5th of August, and you'll be able to get 10% off of selected 25-27 items. Now, I believe it's going to be a whole bunch of things that you can get the discount on, but we will know for sure next week. Now, I'm going to hold that together. Actually, I'm going to hold that together with a glue dot, because that is, you could, in some cultures, consider that cheating, but I consider it working smarter, not harder. And then I can get rid of my silly liquid glue. Okay, so I'm going to put my glue dot right there, and then double that back and hold it together. We'll use a little piece of linen thread, like so. And we're just going to tie a yellow bow. No, that's not even the right color, for goodness sake, Mary. Now, I'm not going to tie it I'm not going to pull it real snug because I don't want it to cinch up my ribbon, but I'm just going to do enough to get where I can make my bow. Okay? Do you ever get a roll of linen thread that's really thick? And it makes me think I've grabbed baker's twine, but I haven't. It's really linen thread. It just happens to be a really thick one. There we go. All right, so let's tidy that up. Now, watch how this works. It's so cool. It's going to make you so excited. Okay. Look at that. And then it's so obvious to your recipient that they're supposed to pull that out like that. Okay, so now we've got everything done. All we have to do is some decorating. And I have used the Cheers and Sips bundle to stamp and die cut a bunch of things. Okay, so let us talk about, well, I did do one fussy cut, I confess. I fussy cut that little guy because I really wanted that umbrella and it didn't work out. There is a die for an umbrella, but I didn't use it. I fussy cut that. Okay. Now, from one of the pieces of this DSP, I used the small tumbler to cut out a yellow glass. And before we get too far, I'm going to get my I have the little ice cubes, and we're going to stamp some ice cubes in Daffodil Delight on there. Ah, thanks, Mary Catherine. I like to be helpful. It's my thing. Okay, so we're just going to do a few ice cubes here along the bottom, because no drink, especially when it's like 1,000 degrees outside, you definitely want some ice cubes in your drink. And I'm going to make it a lot of ice cubes because I'm pretty sure it's going to melt fast. Okay, now let's go ahead and put our sentiment on here. I love putting sentiments on die cut shapes that aren't circles and banners and squares and stuff. I really do. I just think it's fun. All right, so I'm going to start with cheers. Get it? It's a drink. Okay, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and then on the other side of my block, I have To You. And again, with the ever so scary Blackberry Bliss. And just be sure, I'm going to pull this to me because I want it straight, okay? Hang on a minute. Okay, there's Cheers to You. Now, as with all the darkly tinted doohickey wuckers, you do want to give it a little extra time to dry. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a few other things prepped, and then all we'll have to do is adhere. I used the tall glass die from the die set to cut out what I am assuming is iced tea. Then I have stamped and die cut 3 lemons from Daffodil Delight and an orange from Timid Tiger, aforementioned, one of my favorites. I have a rosemary in Old Olive. I have 2 mint leaves in Garden Green, and then I stamped 3 little strawberry peoples in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Okay, so let's do a little coloring. First, we'll do our strawberries, and I'm using, naturally enough, the light strawberry slush Stampin' Blend, or Stampin' Blend. Do you ever have your brain just go, ha, 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 come up with that name real quick? Go for it, Mary. I dare you. No, I'm not going to give it to you. Not giving it to you. Now, you can get all head up with blending if you want, but, you know. I mean, all I would do is just do a little bit darker right along the edges like that to make them look like they were round, like so. That's pretty high tech right there. I mean, that's some Sistine Chapel level coloring right there. Okay. And then I'm going to use, since we do not have a blend for Garden Green, I'm using the Stampin' Right marker to color the tops. And I like to use the brush tip because it gives me a little less surface space to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, one more. Una más. And then we can get to decorating. Okay. Oh, I got one more strawberry, and then I'm going to take a blender pen. So now I have used Stampin' Right markers, Stampin' Blends, and a blender pen. I am all over the place. And for this one, I'm just taking and pulling some of that Garden Green ink into the mint. Okay? Just to have it have a little different look. Like that. Okay? So that's it. Okay. And you see it has, I'm not picking up any ink except from what is already stamped there. So the little formulation in the blender pen grabs that ink and pulls it for you. All right, there we go. Strawberry slush daiquiri and margaritas. Yes. Okay, so let's go. Okay, now first, before I get, how many more times will I say okay before I actually do something? That's the question you should be asking yourself right now. First, let's go ahead and do a little assembling of our tea. And I am going to put a mint sprig right there. I feel like this is iced tea, possibly Long Island iced tea, and it's been 1,000 years since I had a Long Island iced tea, so I don't know if they put mint and lemon on them or not, but this one's going to have it, okay, because it's mine. You know, when I was cutting these out, for those of you who would remember, you remember Vivian and Kit from Pretty Woman? When they were in the bar at near the very beginning of the movie, and they pulled up to the bar and they started eating all the fruit out of from the bar back. As I was cutting this out, that's what I was thinking of, was them eating strawberries and cherries and stuff. Okay, so there's our iced tea. And now I'm going to take the other orange. I'm going to take the orange, I think, and I'm going to, and I wasn't really sure how to do this, so this is what I decided. I cut a slit right here, and then I'm going to put this orange in this drink like this. And the first one I did the front on the outside and the back on the back, and I want to see, what do you think about, maybe this one looks better. Let me see if this looks better. What do you guys think? I don't think so. I think this way was better, don't you? I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I'm going to try like that, because doesn't that seem like that's how it would look to you? That would be on the outside and then the other side. I'm going to do it like this. Let's see. You know what? If anybody gets this card and says, well, it was an awesome card, but I had a little problem with the positioning of your orange, whatever. Do you know how to say whatever with your hands? Whatever. That would be my response to them. Okay, so we're going to put that orange like that, and then I'm going to put, I don't know if you would have rosemary with an orange. I don't know, but I am. So I'm going to put him right there like that. I am not a mixologist. No, I am not. I can put margarita mixer in with tequila and ice and call it good. All right. Okay, here we go. So now we are going to do a little bit of decorating, And what I did is I just started kind of piling them up. Now I wanted just the sprigs to show above the top of this when this was open. So that kind of delineated where that iced tea jar went, or glass went. So let's go ahead and put him on. Just a little bit of liquid glue, like that. I think that'll be pretty good. Let's roll him just a little bit that way. There we go. And he should be straight. Otherwise, he's like on a boat, which wouldn't be terrible. Would it really be terrible if he was on a boat? No, it would not. Okay, now we'll stack up our front here. And this is what was kind of an interesting, I wanted to tell you about this. This was a little bit short. It wasn't a full piece because it was at the edge of my DSP, but I knew it was going to be covered, so I didn't care that the bottom is cut off. All right, so we're going to put him like right about there. And then we'll put Mr. Cheers right about here. Like that. There we go. Oh, yeah. See, because you're trying to see how it looks when it's closed as well as how it looks when it's open. Okay, so we're going to put him right there like that. This is actually the most fun part of this whole card. I'm going to get that down just a little bit so it's supported there. Okay. Oh, and then we'll put our sentiment on. Like that. I'm going to pull him just a little bit that way. Okay. And then we're going to slide a lemon in. And one of my strawberries, not the mint. The mint goes on the inside. So just put a little bit of liquid glue on there. See, liquid glue is like the bomb and the diggity. And slide that like so. Oh, isn't this so cute? You can just see eating all this fruit. This fruit. I only had 1 cup of coffee this morning, but I have had 2 Mountain Dews. That's a valid. Speaking of which, I need a drink. Thank you for reminding me, Miss Rosie, that I needed a drink. Okay, now we're going to decorate. Where? Oh. I have a lemon sitting somewhere. There's another lemon somewhere. Another lemon. Oh, come on. Why does this always happen? Oh, there it is. I found it. Don't worry, I found it. Okay. So we're going to make us a little stack of fruit right here and a sprig of mint. We had mint growing in Colorado at my house when I was growing up, and it goes crazy. If you didn't know, maybe you know, you guys are probably gardeners. Mint is an invasive species. If you put it out on its, like, not in a pot, it will take over wherever you are. So be very, very careful. All right. So we're going to put our mint right there. Like that. And then I've got all three pieces held. I'm just going to put some liquid glue, like so. And there we go. Oh, this is a fun card, guys. I'm liking this. Let's do it. Let's have us a, we should go on a cruise. Let's all go on a cruise somewhere, and we can play and party and sit and have margaritas. Okay, the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few holographic resin dots on the front of the card base, because they look a little bit like, you know, like little drips of water, condensation. That's it. That's what I'm trying to find in my brain, and it wasn't working out right. And then we'll put one right here on this, what I believe is probably lemonade. Okay, so there it is, you guys. There's the card. And don't forget, you've got your little place to write a little ditty, if you will. Little ditty. And if your name is Jack and Diane, you're set. If not, I wouldn't say that to your people. Now let's go ahead and do a quick envelope. And really, this was so easy. I went with that rosemary sprig, which is one of my favorites. I love it. Thanks, Shirley. I appreciate that. I know, wouldn't that be fun? Actually, we're going on a cruise with a bunch of stampers next year. All right, so I'm just going to stamp this here in Old Olive. And then I picked a different DSP. I used this one on my sample, but I inadvertently cut this one, and so I'm going to use it. Okay, because it's pretty too. And we'll just put this on here. And that'll be that, as they say in some industry, somewhere over the rainbow. Isn't that pretty, DSP? I love it. Okay. World's easiest fussy cut. There we go. All righto. Okay, so what do you guys think? I do think that was the right choice for the orange. I think that looks more real, doesn't it? I'll have to add that and take a picture of it. So when you guys make this, put your orange like that. My brain just couldn't find that one. I'm going to have to fix that. I can fix that. All right, guys, I appreciate you joining me. I hope you'll be back on Saturday. I do not know what we're going to make, but I hope it'll be something that you like. Have a great rest of your week. Stay cool. See ya. Ta.